on that note, this is something I said on the show, but I want to say it on the podcast as well for those who don't watch the show, because I care enough about this and no one is talking about this. There are just 2 points I want to make about mail-in ballots with Trump going on about this, okay? And I think it's important that everyone realize these. First of all, he makes a big show about unsolicited mail ballots versus solicited mail ballots, right? Where he says, in Florida, you ask for a mail-in ballot and then you fill it out. In other places, like say California, they just send everyone ballots. There's ballots all over the place and garbage bins overflowing, and then you have fraud. All right? That's what he says. Okay. Now, you need to realize that none of the examples he gives of places where there's voter fraud, where they go, discard ballots, none of them are states with unsolicited mail ballots. They're all states that are like Florida. They're like Pennsylvania or New York or states like that. Let me tell you these states in total that have unsolicited mail ballots. They are Colorado, Oregon, Utah, Washington, and Hawaii are the 5 states that have had mail-in ballots for like a decade. And they send them out, not to everyone, to registered voters. And there are 5 other states in America that this year send out unsolicited mail ballots to registered voters. They are California, Nevada, New Jersey, Vermont, and Washington, D.C. And what they have in common is that none of them matter for the presidential election. So come election day, when Trump's saying, this is all rigged because of the mail ballots all over the place. No, none of the states that we'll be talking about have mail ballots going all over the place. They are all under the system that he professes everyone should have. Yeah. So that is bullshit, okay? And it's important that people understand that. The second thing that's bullshit is that he says that he's worried about the mail-in vote count taking forever. Why can't we do it on the day? Why can't we do it on the day? They just take days, weeks and months to commit fraud. Okay. Do you know why it takes weeks and months to sometimes process lots of mail-in ballots? I'll tell you why. Because they need to process them for security reasons to make sure that people don't vote twice, what Trump is encouraging people to do in North Carolina, that people don't vote twice, that people, it actually checks out. They have a lot of these, in fact, I think almost all of them have barcodes they need to check and all the rest of it. It takes a while to actually process them for security processes, okay?
And you match the signature.
Yeah, and you need, and that's part of it. You need to match the signature as well. Now, most states, not most states, a lot of states do that now. When you send out the mail-in ballot, they do it immediately. They match the signature and then they pull out the envelope that's inside that envelope and they put it with all the other ballots and they count them together, okay? That's how Florida works, which is why Florida gets to count all its mail-in ballots on the night. But there are a bunch of states where legally in those states, they are not allowed to process mail-in ballots until election day. And so those states don't check signatures until election day or after. So it will take them maybe a week to process them, maybe 2 weeks.
And go ahead.
No,
and a lot of times you have these secretaries of states who say we should be able to count them and prepare them before election day to be ready, and the legislatures won't do it.
This is where I'm going. Okay. And I was going to say, also, this time you're going to have poll watchers scrutinizing every single one of them, going, hey, how about that one? How about that one? Which is going to slow down the process even more. Now, 3 of those states that I've just described that don't start until election day are Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan, the 3 critical states in this election, okay? So all of them you can expect to take weeks. For the last month, in fact, more. For the last several months, the Democratic Party in those states have been trying to pass bills through the state legislature to move those processing dates back, and they have been blocked by the Republicans who hold the state legislature in those 3 states. So what you have a situation where, and I'm sorry when I say this, it sounds so partisan, but it is just the truth. You have a situation where you have, at the state level, Republicans stopping them from fixing a problem, so they will guarantee there will be a delay that then at the federal level, Donald Trump will complain about and use as an excuse for why the election is rigged. And when they try and fix it, they are blocked. And that, to me, is incredibly cynical and should be called out on as many forums as possible, which is why I did it on the Friday show and I'm doing it here.
Yeah,
So
I totally
yeah,
agree.
yeah.
I mean, one thing I always say is that the Republicans, and again, the Democrat, I have no charter for the Democrats at all, but because they have their own problems. But one thing
Yes, they do.
Republicans are very good at is setting the house on fire and then standing outside and throwing rocks at the firefighters. It just happens over and over and over again. It's a strategy, and particularly the voting thing. That's a systematic thing. They have conferences about it. There's tapes of people saying, "Look, we're doing this to lower the vote" and stuff like that.